following me for a while, you will know that I spent 10 years as a secondary school maths teacher. And I started this business, looking after your pennies, as a side hustle whilst I was teaching. But that wasn't my first side hustle. I have done various different side hustles over the years, and most of them started in my teaching career. So I thought I would share with you some of my favourite side hustles for teachers so that you can make some additional cash to top up your income. So the first one, and probably the one that's most well known to teachers, is face-to-face tutoring. So the time where maybe a student comes to you or you go round to their house and you offer your teaching services on a one-to-one basis. Now, I did some of this as a teacher, particularly when I was younger, and it was a great way to make some extra income. Now, I know many more experienced and established teachers who are doing this still, and they do this regularly, weekly, monthly, whatever it is, as a way to supplement their income. I also know of one teacher who managed to turn face-to-face tutoring from a side hustle into his full-time job. So there is plenty of money in this. Obviously, a lot of it depends on your subject specialisms, but you don't need to be a secondary school teacher or, even be like English or maths. There are plenty of people that want help with other areas. Even if you're not an English and math specialist, you are still able to help people with their English and math skills too, if that's what they require. So have a look to see what options are out there. So the next side hustle is online tutoring. So obviously this uses a lot of the same skills that you are already using in that face-to-face tutoring. But naturally, things like the pandemic have seen a rise in people turn into online solutions. And the great thing about this is that you don't have to travel around, so you can save some time and money there, and you can have access to all the resources that you need through an online program. Now, you could offer this just directly, so just use the software that's out there. Google has some great resources for this, or you could do it through a company. So I had my first experience with online tutoring when my youngest daughter was still a baby. So I went through a website and found a family who were doing like a year abroad thing. I think the dad had to go away for work and the whole family went with them. So they were UK students, but they were living in, I think, Texas at the time. So they wanted a maths teacher along with a whole load of other teachers to provide their maths education while they were on the go. So I became their regular online maths tutor. And this worked out so well for me because I was able to fit that in around my children and earn an income. Now, the downsides to using like third-party software and using this to even find clients is that they will take a cut. So you need to be aware of those costs. If you're directly offering your services, then you won't have those additional charges, but you will be responsible for doing your own marketing and finding new clients. So number 3 is a common one, again, used by teachers, and this is exam marking. So right now I'm recording this in June, and this is peak exam marking time. So many teachers are taking on additional work that they do in the evenings and at the weekends, which is exam marking. So this can be for the exam boards, or it could be things like SATs papers. And this provides them with a big lump of money, a reasonable lump of money during the summer months that can then help pay for things like the summer holidays. Now, there is some training that is required for this, so it's good to get on these things early. So make sure you're checking out the key exam boards, normally in around January, February time, to look for these opportunities. The next one is selling your resources. So you need to be careful with this and check your contract, because it could be that the resources that you're making for use in your classroom are covered by your contract and are then property of the school, or as a minimum you don't have the rights to be able to go ahead and sell these. However, some contracts will allow you to use these resources and retain the ownership of them. Alternatively, you could create resources that are outside of what you are making in the classroom. So for example, if you're a secondary school teacher and you're making resources for primary school kids, this could be outside of what is covered by your contract. But there is a great market for resources. As a teacher, I rarely used to make my own resources. At best, I would take somebody else's and adapt it to suit my classroom, and on my laziest of days, I would just use the resources that I found online. There are lots of great ones out there. The TES website, TES, is a great resource for finding these things, but it's also a great place to sell your resources too. There's also another website that's more American-based. It's called Teachers Pay Teachers. It could be a great way for you to take the resources that you have made and make a profit from them. The next one is teaching English online. Now, you don't need to be an English teacher for this. You just need to be able to speak English. There are lots of websites that are looking for native English speakers, or at least fluent English speakers, to be able to teach English to non-English speakers. So this is largely popular in Asian countries such as China, where they want people who are able to teach the language and have some decent teaching skills too. Now, they provide you with the clients, they provide you with lots of software, and you are tasked with making it fun. Now, I have been through the interview process for this, and it did involve things like getting just the right coloured shirt and, setting up a teaching background and practicing the lesson. So there is a bit of a process that you have to go through. But there are plenty of people that do this as their full-time job. So make sure that you check this out if you are looking to have an additional income. What's great about it is that the hours can work around the school time. Because of the time difference, you may find that you're able to do this either before work or after work, because that is what best suits the students in other countries. So the next one is you could try being a host family. Now, this works well if you have kids at home too. You can either during term time or during the holidays offer to host a student from another country. Lots of companies do this to help those students improve their English skills, and you could be one of the families that provides accommodation and food for them while they're here. Now, there are lots of opportunities for this, but it's a good idea to check in your local area. Different schemes operate slightly differently, but these are paid placements, so there is money available to you for hosting them. Naturally, you'll have to go through some checks to ensure that you are safe, but if you're a teacher, you're normally good with that anyway. Plus, there are some added perks to this. You might make a friend from another country, and you might pick up some additional language skills too. So the next one is you could become a holiday activity leader. If you're bored in your holidays, I'm not sure that happens, but if you want some additional income, this could be good for you. There are lots of different clubs and holiday activities that are offered, sports clubs, gyms, things like that, for students whose parents need something for them to do, or they're just, worried that their kids are going to get bored. So you could offer to deliver one of those. They're not all sports related, they could be related to crafts, and some of them could be quite academic too. Naturally, this is a good one because it fits in with your holiday time, so you don't have to worry about doing work on top of work during the term time. These sorts of jobs can come up in places such as museums and universities too, so make sure you look at all the different options out there. It can be good to start looking 2 or 3 months ahead of when you would be available to start doing these jobs to ensure that you have the best opportunity of catching these recruitment windows. And number 7 in the 7 awesome side hustles for teachers is why not just do something completely different? Perhaps you're into IT and you fancy designing websites. Well, start a business doing that. You could put your services on Favour. Maybe you're good at knitting. Could you offer knitting lessons? Okay, that one's still a bit teachery, but maybe you could knit things and sell them on Etsy. Or you could do something like I've done and become a content creator, where I use some of the skills and passion that I had for education and teach something that is mostly outside of what I was used to teaching. There are lots of great side hustles out there for teachers. That's because we're hugely well-rounded and super skilled individuals. For me, it was a stepping stone from moving from my teaching career into something different. I would love to hear about your side hustles if you're a teacher, so drop them in the comments below. I'm going to do a little bit of a series about different side hustles for different professions, so if you have a profession that you want me to cover, you can drop that in the comments too. Hit the subscribe button so you can see those future videos, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!